Welcome to Cantina Talk. This is the place where we talk all things Star Wars. We do our very best to stay up to date and current on literally everything Star Wars, be it canon or legends. For now, we're going to stick with the Book of Boba Fett since it's brand new and so far amazing. We know Boba Fett now as Temuera Morrison, as he's reprising his role after he played it in The Mandalorian Season 2. Actually, he made his cinematic debut in 2002, where he played Jango Fett, which is kind of cool. Didn't realize that until I went back and rewatched the movies. Should have known, which is why he's also the voice of the clones in the Clone Wars. So that's pretty cool. This picks up from the little teaser we got at the end of the season finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, where he replaces Jabba the Hutt on Mos Espa of Tatooine as the Daimyo of Mos Espa. And the show picks up where that teaser left off. The show starts with Boba Fett laying in a back-to-tank healing from all of his injuries that happened before now. And while he's in this back-to-tank, he is having a dream. Basically a flashback of where he was compared to where he is now. It goes back to him being stranded in the Sarlacc pit after he is kicked off of the ship of the fight in front of Jabba's palace on Tatooine. And it shows him escaping. He essentially lights it on fire from the inside out, killing the Sarlacc, and he climbs out of the sand and he lays there for dead because he's just extremely exhausted from fighting for his life. Next thing we know, it's dark and Jawas pull up and strip him of all his armor to obviously sell it, which is how we come across it in The Mandalorian. And then, after the Jawas leave him for dead, a tribe of Tusken Raiders come along and enslave him. And to make matters worse, they squeeze what looks like a carrot worm with nasty yellow juice in his mouth to wake him up, and then make him walk in the desert behind a pack of banthas while they're all riding along, having the time of their lives. And then the next thing we know, he's being tied up to a post in the Tusken Raider camp. After that, it cuts back to him getting out of the back-to-tank, talking to his right-hand man, Fennec, or right-hand woman, Fennec Shand, and she's telling him that the tributes are coming for him to get ready. So he gets ready, puts on all of his armor, and then it cuts to him sitting in the throne with all these people and creatures coming to pay tribute as he's the new Daimyo of Mos Espa. Then it cuts to the mayor's right-hand man, the mayor of Mos Espa, and he doesn't bring any tribute. They were expecting the mayor, but he sends his right-hand man instead, and it kind of takes Fennec and Boba Fett by surprise. They tell him they were expecting the mayor, and this guy just apologizes profusely in kind of like a smart-ass way. Like, I wanted to slap him in the mouth because everything he said just seemed so backhanded. And then when Boba Fett says, "We understand, and tell the mayor we accept his tribute," and this guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me, I have to look it up in here a second, but this guy tells Boba Fett that is a mistaken assumption, that the mayor was expecting tribute from Boba Fett. And Boba Fett and Fennec Shand obviously decline in a forceful yet respectful manner, and tells him that their tribute to the mayor is him not leaving injured or mangled. It was pretty funny watching him walk away, and then he just turns around and says he doesn't think the mayor is going to take too kindly to this, and that he wouldn't be surprised if another convoy, or whatever you want to call it, is sent a second time. basically saying you can expect a second visit from somebody else on the mayor's payroll. It was a display of a power exchange. The mayor's not willing to bow down to the daimyo, and obviously Boba Fett isn't going to bow down to anybody. And so him and Fennec Shand go on a walk. They walk to the cantina, where we hear a remix of the cantina song, which in my opinion is pretty dope. That dude was going pretty hard on the guitar, and I was here for it. I was digging it. And so they're waiting, and two slaves come up to them asking if they want their helmets polished and serviced while they wait. Fennec says no forcefully, and then Boba Fett's like, yeah, why not? Take them. So they take their helmets, and they wait on, oh my gosh, what is her name? Fwip. Something Fwip. I don't know exact names. I've only seen the episode like 2 or 3 times now. But it's something Fwip. I know that for sure. Garsa Fwip. So Garsa Fwip is the manager or owner of the cantina, and she's a Twi'lek, and she has Twi'lek slaves that came and took the helmets. My goodness. Sorry, I just hit my mic stand. Anyways, she basically, they just fight. They fight until they're able to get the upper hand, because also there's 2 Gamorrean guards that remained loyal to the throne, and now they're loyal to Boba Fett. So they come running around the corner to aid them, and that's what gave them the upper hand. And after a while, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand obviously win that little battle. And as they're running away, one of the assassins is climbing a wall, and Boba Fett's like, fuck this, and fires off a wrist rocket and just obliterates this person. There's literally nothing left of this assassin. And then Shand just takes off after them. Boba tells her to bring them back alive. Anyway, she's chasing these assassins across over on the rooftops, parkour style, and she finally catches up to them both. She gets their weapon, and she has them both cornered with the weapon pointed at them. She looks at one and pushes him off the roof to try to send a message to the other assassin saying, I will kill you if you do not comply. And the assassin just gives up. Gives her a nasty look, and then it cuts back to Boba Fett, and he's telling the Gamorreans to take him back to the back-to-tank, because he was beat up pretty good in this battle from his wrist rocket blowing himself up and taking these hits to the chest and ribs and arms. So they throw him back in the back-to-tank, and then he goes back to having flashbacks when he was in the Tusken Raider camp. This time it cuts back to he's tied up to the post again, and now there's a new prisoner with him. It's this crappy Rodian that is a big old snitch. While they're sitting there, it's nighttime. Everyone is off in their tents, seemingly either having a good time drinking or going to bed or whatnot. It's pretty quiet. There's this guard dog. I don't know what race this friggin' alien dog is. Has spikes all over his back and a long snout, lots of teeth, and black, dead eyes. It just creeps me out. Anyways, he is trying to untie his rope that's tying his hands, and the dog wakes up, looks at him, stands up, starts walking to him, and Boba Fett just continues to work at his ropes. Sooner the dog comes up to him, and Boba Fett just strangles the bitch and then cuts his rope on the teeth of this alien dog. Looks at the Rodian saying, do you want me to cut your bond so we'll escape together? And this bitch-ass Rodian snitches on him, getting the other Tusken Raiders to run after him. So Boba Fett takes off, got about 5 or 6 Tusken Raiders behind him, one of them being the leader with his right-hand man that is just a master at hand-to-hand combat or close-quarters combat, and makes them fight when they catch up to Boba Fett, because he has a little stick that he stole from this kid guard that was watching over them. I don't know why they had a kid with a stick. And Boba Fett's like, fuck you, give me this stick. And takes off running. Anyways, these older ones, the warriors, catch up to Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett engages to hand-to-hand combat with the right-hand man of the Tusken Raider leader. She wipes the floor with him. He has no idea what to do. He just gets buried. And so he gets knocked out again, and it cuts back to them being tied up to the posts again. This time, they're chained up, and the kid is taking them out to go do something away from camp. And so he's dragging these two prisoners, the Rodian and Boba Fett, along with their guard dog, and they get to a point where there is a hut, kind of like it looks like Uncle Owen's hut, and I'm assuming it's kind of like a reference to whenever they walk up to Uncle Owen's hut and they're all burnt up. Anyways, there's a group of bandits there robbing the place and beating this guy up, and they're spraying this weird symbol on the wall. It's like a J and an L kind of back to back to one another. And these bandits just ride off on their motorbikes. And so the Tusken child and the Boba Fett and the Rodian continue on to what they were doing in the first place. And the Tusken's like, start digging. The Rodian understood what the Tusken was saying and started digging immediately. And Boba Fett's like, what do you want me to do? What are we doing here? And the child started making these gestures with his hand. And he's like, oh, you want me to dig? He's like, what am I digging for? And then the child pulls this orb-looking thing, like a pod, out of his hand, cuts it out, like breaks it open and starts drinking. He's like, oh, you want me to dig for water? They have these little water pods that the Tusken Raiders use to drink, and that you dig them from the sand, I guess. Anyways, they're digging along. They find a couple, and the Rodian is digging and just comes across this scaly arm. And he's just like, what the heck is this? And he just keeps scraping away at the sand, trying to uncover what it is. And this huge 6-armed monster just rises out of the sand, grabs the Rodian by the face, picks up the chain, and then grabs Boba Fett by the leg, and turns to the Rodian with his other arm, and it's like kind of like starts strangling him, and then like slams him into the ground. And then the guard dog comes running along, bites this monster's arm, and the monster's like, what the heck, you little mosquito, and slaps the shit out of it and just moves on back to the Rodian, slamming him into the ground again, and this time killing him, which he deserved. Fucking bitch Rodian. And then he... Okay, sorry, I got distracted by my own hatred for this Rodian. And so he kills the Rodian, and turns back to Boba Fett, because I think Boba Fett hit him with a chain or something. I don't know. Anyways, he turns back to Boba Fett, punches Boba Fett, and sends him flying. He walks back over to him and picks him up. And the child Tusken runs over, stabs it in the foot with his little wooden stick. The monster punches the kid. The kid's out. The kid's out cold. And starts walking towards the kid while he's on the ground. Boba Fett is... I guess it's presumed knocked out by this monster, so because the monster just quits focusing on him, turns his back to Boba Fett, and Boba Fett runs up behind him with a chain, climbs on its back and wraps it around the monster's neck, strangles the bitch to death, and then next thing we know, the child is running back doing their sound, carrying the head of this monster to show his tribe what just happened. And they're celebrating with the kid, and Boba Fett's just standing there holding his chains. I'm assuming it's like a metaphor of him rising above the chains, where he's no longer enslaved, or he's to the point where he doesn't need to be enslaved because he saved one of the Tusken Raiders. And so the leader of the Tusken Raiders is looking on what's happening. He sees that the head of the monster has been taken off. He looks over at Boba Fett. The next thing we know, the Tusken Raider leader is walking over to him, stands next to him, and hands him a water pod as a kind of like a way of saying, okay, I can trust you now. Hands him the water, and then the episode ends. I want to go back to this Tusken Raider leader, though, because there's a few things about him that just seem a little weird to me. He conducts himself in a way that I've never really seen a Tusken Raider conduct himself, because they're all animals. They're straight savages, and no matter what, you can expect them to act that way and act like they're just out here to survive and not be strategic or anything. There's been a few of them that have been in lore that have been a little strategic or a little less single-minded. This one just seems a little odd to me. He has this weird apparatus around his neck. It kind of looks like the breathing apparatus that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon used in Episode 1 to go to the underwater Gungan city so they could breathe underwater and swim longer distances while holding their breath. It's like a bigger version of that, but it looks exactly like that in the terms of the way it's shaped. He also has this weird metal thing hanging on his necklace that has a whole bunch of horns. This just looks completely out of place. It looks like a key almost. And then his robe, the robe that he wears, is a light brown, like a khaki brown, and his belt, it's a wide-bellied belt. It's a dark brown. So it really reminds me of, the Jedi Knight getup where they have the light brown underrobe with the dark brown belt. And he has a couple gadgets on his belt that just don't look like something a Tusken Raider would wear. So I did some digging into it. And right now, it's a soft feeling that I'm getting about him, but it could play out. I want to say this guy could hypothetically be Asherad Het. He was a Jedi Knight, Tusken Raider Jedi Knight, that lived on Tatooine, was a Jedi Knight, and was a Tusken Raider. Asherad Het became, this is all legends, he became Darth Krayt after Darth Sidious was killed by Darth Vader, and he rises up in the ranks as Dark Lord of the Sith and becomes Darth Krayt. And now, he was pretty docile on Tatooine when he was by himself. Anakin and Obi-Wan actually had a run-in with him, and Obi-Wan and Asherad actually fought, Obi-Wan winning, banishing Asherad from Tatooine, and that's when he ultimately becomes Darth Krayt. And now, just my theory is this Tusken Raider leader could be Asherad Het before he becomes Darth Krayt. It was also rumored that Darth Krayt was one of the main protagonists in Obi-Wan miniseries that's coming out later in 2022, but nothing has been confirmed. This could be a way of introducing him into canon or recanonizing Darth Krayt, because Disney's been doing that every now and then. They just pick and choose what they want to recanonize after decanonizing a crap ton of Star Wars content. And so I think it could be a good theory. I don't know if it's going to come to light. We'll see on Wednesday when the new episode comes out if they expand on this or not. But I also believe this is where Boba Fett just gets his Gurnati stick, I think is what they call it. There's the sticks that the Tusken Raiders use. He also had a Tusken Raider rifle in The Mandalorian Season 2. So I'm assuming he just gains the respect of this Tusken Raider tribe, gets the equipment he needs to meet up with The Mandalorian, and then the rest is history. It wasn't a very eventful first episode, but it was a good origin start. It was a good start to the Boba Fett story, and I really look forward to what they come up with next. Let me know what you guys think. What kind of content would you guys like to have, as well as the TV shows? We do read the books. We're thinking of starting a book club, basically, reading whatever new books come out and then discussing it for about 15-20 minutes as a podcast. And we're thinking about doing that. We have a few things that we have in mind coming up. Just let us know what kind of content you guys would like to have in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, that's it for now. We're going to try to make episodes weekly. They're not going to be very long. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Just discussing what happened, what we think can happen in the future, what we would like to see, and what was just cool or what we think could have been done a little better, We're going to try to have something out every Friday or Saturday of every week. There's going to be 3 of us for the most part on each episode. This time it's just me. The other 2 had prior obligations. And so I just wanted to get content out, introduce ourselves to you guys, start getting to know one another, and just interact with you guys, because we really want to make everybody feel heard and like they're part of the discussion. There might even be times where we have just guests come on, just random people, like random subscribers, just whoever interacts the most with us and just wants to talk Star Wars, because we just love talking Star Wars. We want to get our ideas out and our thoughts out, and this is a super awesome way to do it. So again, just please let us know what you guys think. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Remember, this is Cantina Talk. This is the place.